Kings of Leon dropping. I think this is their eighth studio album.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, when you see yourself, that's the name of it. Um, I want to preface this by mentioning who the producer was for them on this, and the producer was a guy named Marcus Dravs, who has worked with Coldplay and Mumford and Sons, and I think that really is evident on this album because while I think there's some really interesting takes and some interesting directions that they go in, a bit of it feels meandering to me at times, and I found myself just kind of feeling like Kings of Leon really took the like Sex is on Fire type route and it's just kind of like stayed in that lane. And how far they've fallen from like Molly's Chamber is just kind of disappointing to me. At least falling from that sound, that garage
Uh-huh.
rock sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually funny because they have like a love-hate relationship with Sex is on Fire. And
Mm,
you know, is it Use Somebody?
yeah,
The
You Somebody was huge.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's the peak of their career. Like they win Record of the Year for Use
Hmm.
Somebody. They won a few other Grammys. They got nominated for a lot around that time. And then they did their their darndest to not get those comparisons again. And that producer you mentioned, I believe they worked with him on the last album as well from 2016. Is it Walls?
Walls,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's been a while for them as a band, and they're definitely one of those more established legacy bands from the 2000s that can still drop, as we've been talking about recently. But I mean, I'm not a Kings of Leon guy, so I don't have like the best frame of reference. But for me, this definitely quite quickly blended all together and sounded like a big nothing burger.
Yeah. It's interesting because in reading reviews online, they've really ranged. And I think some people kind of see this as like the Strokes most recent album where they
Ah,
kind of saw like the evolution of the band and like, oh, okay, they're trying to become a little bit different. They're trying to change their style up more. They're experimenting with some sounds. Like the difference between a song like Time in Disguise, which feels like this nice bass groove, and then was it Claire and Eddie, which is like this, you know, country rock tune, kind of more to their roots, and then even something like Stormy, a song where like the drums are really washed out a bit. You can tell that they're trying their range, but it just doesn't seem to really mesh together in a way that's interesting a lot
do
of
they
the
have
time.
that? Do they have that range?
Yeah.
Nothing stood out to me. I don't know.
I think there were some moments for me, right? Like in talking about them kind of stealing some of the styles or trying on some new hats, so to speak. Um, Golden Restless Age stood out. Kind of a callback to like Future Islands type vibe with like that like bass groove that's kind of like in the background. The guitar solo that kind of came in. And it had this like slow build up and then the guitars kind of come raging in and kind of falls back, I thought. I don't know. And I guess that was maybe more my feeling for Wave too, which is another standout for me. How they kind of built it up to then like drop it back, drop the sound back out, and kind of create that feeling of like being caught up in a wave. But yeah, I think overall, not a memorable Kings of Leon album, and I don't know if they've had one since the Use Somebody Sex is on Fire album. I think that I don't even really remember what that
Only
album
been
was
like
called.
15 years, NBD.
Well,
Almost.
it's tough because the lead singer had some like substance abuse issues, and that kind of I think took a lot of steam out of their momentum. And I think some people might also say that moving to that "Sex Is on Fire" type sound was a bit of like selling out from that original garage rock sound. I mean, that first album is so much heavier and real like hammering guitar type sound, like thumping drums, and now it's a bit softer and maybe just the evolution of any rock band nowadays. But is the music still interesting? Mm.
Yeah. The thing that stood out to me recently was that alongside this album release, they were also releasing it as a NFT,
Mm,
and just the growing conversation of NFTs, non fungible tokens, like crypto art. It's been a big thing with NBA Top Shot and
Yep.
sports memorabilia and like the trading aspect of that, but also seeing its effect on art, both positive and negative, is it's ongoing as well. And to see a major label legacy rock band get in the mix like this, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Dave, do you have a top shot yet?
No, um, it's too late.
Too late for you now.
It's too late.
If you could have one like top shot highlight, what would you want?
Well, here's the thing. From what I understand, if you actually know the game and you know what's good, what's going to happen, you can take advantage of the idiots that just like to gamble and buy sports memorabilia. So I have this allure of taking advantage of the morons, but I haven't actually done it yet. I think part of that is because Emmanuel quickly doesn't have any top shots yet. You know,
Well,
we'll see.
soon enough, I'm sure. If you want to check out or see if Kings of Leon is something that this album might be for you, check out our Nostalgia Best of 2021, where we'll definitely have a song from Kings of Leon, Sarah Larson, and Drake. Lemon Pepper from Scary Hours 2 is already on there, so check that out.